Ladies and gentlemen, friends, now, you know what? I should have asked Bassanio how to do this and do it properly. Where's John Mann, my teacher of Rin? John, I guess through all of the excitement, I got it all wrong. So come on over here, John. I'm not going to be embarrassing. Just tell me how to pronounce it right. Go ahead. How do I say ladies and gentlemen? Good evening. Sang Sang Men. Yu Xie Men. Ni Men Hao. Now, for all of the Italians in the room, that means buonasera carissimi signori e signore. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted that all of you came this evening to enjoy the art of Nancy Wu Chu. I'm going to introduce Nancy in a moment. Can everybody hear me? Richard, can you hear me back there?
Yeah.
This is good. I just wanted to give you a few welcoming words, and then I want to introduce some of the people that are here with us. Let me just tell you that Nancy's work is part of the celebration of the 10th anniversary of the return of Hong Kong, now Special Administrative Region, to the People's Republic of China. 10 years. The actual date is actually about 3 months ago. But by the time it gets to this side of the Pacific, here we are in the middle of October. Now, I'm going to ask Pal, the executive director, later on to say a few words, but some of you might wonder why such an important event would be celebrated first by an artist, and then here in the center, a very important art gallery, but in the center that is the heart of the Italian community in Toronto. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But I want to introduce some of the people who brought this thing together first. And the first of these, of course, will be Mr. Bassanio So, who is the director of the Hong Kong Trade and Economic Office here in Canada. He is the co-chair of this event. In fact, he's the important person here, aside from the artist, and of course the next one who I'm going to introduce. But Bassanio is the guy who said, Joe, we have to do this. And I want to make sure that our good friends at the PRC feel really good about it too. So, Bassanio, you're going to make them feel good. Come on.
Buonasera, good evening. Even though I have an Italian name, my Italian is just up to that standard. First of all, welcome to the exhibition of Nancy Wu's painting. This is the second exhibition. The first one was done 2 days ago in Ottawa, and we're very glad that that was a stunning success in Ottawa. Following that, Nancy's painting now comes to Toronto, and this will be the end of the Canadian tour of Nancy's painting. We believe that Nancy actually merges the techniques of both the East and the West. If you look at her painting, you understand that it's not just Western painting or just Chinese painting. It's a mixture of two. And she's actually exemplifies the role of Hong Kong as the melting pot of both the East and the West. And therefore we are actually the electoral gateway for a lot of events now happening in China. We have been helping a lot of Canadian companies to go into China, and we have been helping a lot of Canadians to understand China through Hong Kong. This year is our 10th anniversary, the 10th anniversary of the establishment of the Special Administrative Region of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region of the People's Republic of China. We have been very glad to return to China, and over the past 10 years, despite all those ups and downs, Hong Kong has been moving forward, and we are always proud to tell people these days that Hong Kong is booming. If ever you have the opportunity to come to Hong Kong, you will see how lively and dynamic our city has become under the Chinese rule, despite all those doomsayers' prediction of Hong Kong back in the early 1990s. So I hope you will enjoy the painting of Nancy, which is very vibrant indeed, and it also signifies the vibrant society in Hong Kong, the East and the West, and also, I'm really glad that Nancy is not selling her painting. Even though we are a trade and economic office, we are supposed to be doing trading today. But Nancy was so kind that she said that she will only give away paintings. So I'm really glad to host this event on behalf of Nancy and welcome Nancy to Canada, and I hope the exhibition will be a success again. Thank you.
Well, Bassanio, Nancy's going to be able to give away all of her art because, as I understand it, the Trade and Economic Office is actually going to be paying for everything, so she can donate it to everybody, right? Now, when Hong Kong went back to the PRC, as Bassanio said, there was a lot of concern, but everything's been absolutely marvelous from the outside world's perspective. And I'm going to say a few words a little later on, but one of the things that the Western world always remarked at is the way that the PRC abided by all of the indications that it gave initially. And so much so that we have for us here in Canada, the unfortunate phenomenon of a lot of Hong Kongese going back to Hong Kong. So, Madam Consul General, maybe what we should do is we should figure out a way to make sure that those people actually come back to Canada, right? I would like you to receive the Consul General. She's new in Toronto, relatively new. Madam Zhu Haoying. She is the Consul General for the People's Republic of China and a wonderful spokesman for the PRC. Madame, would you please?
I hope I will be as tall as you, so I don't have to just this mic. Well, Honorable MP and Senior Director of Hong Kong Trade Office, and Madame Nancy Chu, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's very honor for me to be invited to attend this magnificent event hosted jointly by the Honorable MP and respected director. First of all, I would like to thank you to bring this magnificent paintings for us and make this possible. Secondly, I would like to thank famous painter, Madame Nancy Chu, for you have really made us proud for a Chinese woman who studied in the States and learned oil painting in the States, and now create a new magnificent kind of paintings with Chinese traditional methods combined with Western and Eastern way of painting, and even we can imagine the combination of traditional Chinese painting with the impressions. It's something which I have never seen before in painting. So I think I should congratulate you for your great achievements, and I also should thank all the guests attending this exhibition for supporting the exchanges between China and Canada. As the previous distinguished honorable and the director said, the cultural exchanges is one of the important field between our two countries. and a famous painter from Hong Kong, the Blur of the East, SIS, Hong Kong Special Administration Region, that has been returned back to the motherland for only 10 years. We are proud to see that it has not only retained its position as the center of finance, trade, and shipping, but also contributed a lot in many other fields, such as culture. So Madame Nancy is a very good example to show that Hong Kong create generations after generations of genius in all fields. So once again, I congratulate for the success made by Nancy, and I should thank all of you to the support for the bringing of this cultural exchange to here and make everything possible. So I shall take this opportunity to wish everybody enjoy the evening, and wish in the future we'll have able to see more and more beautiful, magnificent cultural exchanges, not only bring about from China, from mainland, from Hong Kong, from Macau, or Taiwan, but also from the Chinese, overseas Chinese, all over the world. So thank you for your attention.
Some of you want to hear some good words about art in this place, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But one of the groups that made this possible was the RBC Financial Group. When Bassanio said, "Yes, I'd like to do this," he wanted to see if he could get some sponsors, and I've got a couple of them. But I'm going to ask Mr. Ojin Jamku to come on behalf of RBC Financial Group and to extend greetings on behalf of that group to the gathered audience. John.
Thank you, Joe. What a magnificent pieces of art that are here. The coloring and everything is just breathtaking. Thank you very much, Nancy, for enriching our artistic experience tonight. Good evening, everyone. Welcome and thank you to everyone for joining us today. My name is Ho Chan Chan, and I'm a Vice President for Business Development and Cultural Markets for RBC Royal Bank. On behalf of my colleagues, it's a true pleasure to be here with you at this very special reception in the honor of the 10th anniversary of Hong Kong, the Special Administrative Region. As the official representative of Hong Kong government, the Hong Kong Economic Trade Office has been instrumental in strengthening trade ties between our two great nations. Under the strong leadership of Director Bassanio So, I very much appreciate this opportunity to join you this evening. It's hard to believe we are 10 years past that day, July 1st, 1997. Looking back, it's easy to see why Hong Kong has become the most important international investment and business hub in Asia. It's not just about having the freest economy in the world. It's also about having a remarkable infrastructure, a talented and highly dedicated workforce, and an entrepreneurial spirit that is the envy of many, many nations. For our part, RBC has a long and committed history in Hong Kong. You might know that our John Man was country head of RBC operation in Hong Kong and China for 5 years. We are always increasing our investment and commitment to this market. And to those Hong Kong Canadians who now run their businesses here, testament to what Joe was asking. RBC is passionate about Hong Kong and China and the ways we can strengthen our already strong business and cultural ties. And what better way than to showcase the extraordinary talents of Nancy Chu to Canadians. I'd like to join with the others here today to applaud the Economic Trade Office for bringing this a special exhibition of Nancy's works to Canada, and to say thank you to Basan Yusof for allowing the RBC to be the reception's title sponsor. Thank you and enjoy the evening once again.
Now, many of you have already seen some of the art that's been displayed here, and I want Nancy to know that one of the first exhibitors here in this gallery was none other than Leonardo da Vinci. Now,
Not in person.
he didn't come personally though. He just sent some of his original works. We had around-the-clock guard in person. It's special carabinieri sent from Italy in order to do that. So Nancy, and those of you who knew that already, would know that Nancy is exhibiting in a place that's held some very prestigious artists. And so you must wonder, those of you who don't know, who Nancy is. She's already had 13 solo exhibitions around the world. 13. 16 with other groups of artists. I'll give you some of the places. San Francisco, Miami, Chicago, New York, London, Frankfurt, Düsseldorf, Berlin, Osaka, Taipei, Beijing, Hong Kong on many occasions. Just recently in Ottawa, imagine in the nation's capital. In the nation's capital, one of the premier rooms is converted into an art gallery to display her art. And tonight, we have her here with us, and a legacy of many artists, Canadian, foreign, Chinese, and others, who come to the Carrier Art Gallery at the Columbus Center to display their communion of expressions of thought, views of the world, and technique. One of our former gallery curators was here and marveled at the kind of technique that Nancy utilizes to bring the old traditional Chinese method to that which we call today a modernist approach. Much of what you see, you might not expect would have the label Chinese. But China, I know you'll like this, Madam Chu, that China is a very progressive, aggressive, modernist, entrepreneurial nation, eager to reach out to the world and to experience what the rest of the world experiences. Hong Kong has always been the bridge to that. So it's not surprising that someone like Nancy, who lived in the United States for about 14 years, could bridge that gap and would be chosen as an artist to give us the expression of the new China, not the China of 2000, not the China of 2007, but the China of the 2010 and beyond. And I think you'll see that as you examine her paintings and know she's not giving it away free, even if Messiah wanted to pay for it. Nancy, would you come here and share your views with us for a moment? Nancy,
Good evening, everybody. I welcome all of you to come to see my exhibition, to see my paintings. And first of all, I want to thank, there are many people I want to thank, because without them, this won't come to reality. I want to thank the Honorable Joe Boki and MP and Mr. Basan Yusof, Director of the Hong Kong Economic Trade Office. They both co-chair the event, both event, the one in Ottawa in the Parliament House and here in the Italian Cultural Center, which I'm very honored. And Madame Chu, I'm very happy that you come and see my painting and understand my paintings. And then the title sponsored Mr. Ojin Jianghu, the RBC Financial Group, because without your financial help, this also won't happen, and Ms. Rita Dunn of Tourist Holidays. And Dr. K.K. Leung, who initiated this project, he thought of it in a car. And he did not know the trouble that he got into. So he's a genius in his own right. And Mr. John Mann and Irene So, co-chair of the organizing committee. Stephen Sill of the Hong Kong, where's Stephen Sill? He's the power behind this round. He did a lot of work to put this together. And he has a wealth of experience getting exhibitions together in Hong Kong before. Then I want to thank Mr. Pao Dio, CEO, Executive Director of the Columbus Center, and Ms. Rosa Grazzi, the curator of the Career Arts Gallery, and her staff. And then the Vice Consul, Jason Melektic of the Council of Austria. So I want to give a very brief history of my art life. When I was little, I did some serious painting under the Lingnan Master School, and I learned about Chinese paper and the ink, and also the brushwork. However, I went to study fine arts at Cornell and then Columbia for my master's. So I was exposed to Western art, or the theory and good foundation of Western art. When we moved back to Hong Kong, I was in a crossroad whether I should do East or West, and I thought I was neither good in either way. So I have to experiment a lot, and I want to find my own stylistic change. So now my work is almost completely water medium on rice paper, but with ink, splattering of ink first, and then multi-layering of gouache. And this gouache comes from Switzerland. That's the highest quality of pigmentation. So the paper that I use are all water absorbent. So this way, the textural effect is what I experimented all along. Without the Chinese ink, the color won't be as brilliant. And for subject matter-wise, I would do human body and landscape and still life. And if you look through all the works that I did, they all come to one thing, and that is, without the passion in art, you don't show anything, because otherwise you would have done with a photograph, with a camera. So you must have emotion in it, you must have passion, and you must have your own way to depict the subject matter. Like fruits, you have to show that they are, I like to do it, give a human feeling in my fruits and still life. And for landscapes, I want to give the feeling of how I felt at that time while I travel or while I look at the subject. And then when it comes to abstracts, abstract is a very personal thing, and you can interpret any way you like, because it's a freedom of thought. But I believe, in your mind's eye. What you think in your head or feel in your heart, you express in the abstractions. So, and then I did some ink paintings here. There are 2 ink nudes, which is a new thing that I did, because with the fast execution on rice paper, there's no room for correction, and you have to have experience to feel it's a human figure with the right anatomy. And of course, I admire Leonardo da Vinci very much. I travel a lot, and to me, Western art is my teacher, as well as the Chinese traditional paintings. Thank you very much.
I'm going to ask Nancy to make some presentations to Mr. Oh Jianghu. Where is he? There he is.
This is my retrospective catalog. I had a big exhibition in Hong Kong University Art Museum recently.
Please, take a picture. I'd like Mrs. Rita Tsang to come forward as well from Tour East Holidays, another one of our sponsors, and to receive as well the retrospective from Nancy Wu. I'd like to call on Mr. Pal Di Julio. Pal. makes it beat.
Thank you, Mr. Volpe. Buonasera. Good evening. I'll try to be very brief. I should tell you that Mr. Volpe started his career when he was not officially honorable. He was always an honorable man. But before he became officially honorable, Mr. Volpe was a member of the board of directors here at Columbus Center for a number of years. We're always glad to have him back. Also because this is Mr. Volpe's dining room. It's his salotto. He just lives down the street. Also glad to have back, I see a former president of Columbus Center, my direct boss at one point in time, Paul Pellegrini. Nice to have you here, Paul. Thank you very much for coming back. Just a couple of things, just to put it in a framework of geography. You are in the Carrier Gallery in Columbus Center. Columbus Center is a social, cultural, recreation center, which is part of a whole campus here, which includes Villa Colombo, Home for the Aged, a couple of other apartment buildings. It's essentially like having Yihong and the Monchong, all in the same cultural area. This is a little village, it's a piazza. It's a piazza that the Italian-Canadian community wanted, where we could meet for each other and to each other, and we could be a bridge to the many, many, many other communities that we have hosted and shared the space with over the past 27 years. You will see for some of the posters on display that we encourage intercultural exchanges. Upstairs, we have Luis Ramirez, happens to be from Chile, originally a refugee. He's here welcoming at Columbus Center. Besides Mr. Da Vinci, he was never here, but we had original pieces. We have had some real names, if you want. Sophia Loren was here. She wasn't on display. We had Pavarotti, the late Pavarotti was here. A couple of other, unfortunately, late greats who were here. We had Anthony Quinn, very famous actor Anthony Quinn, on a number of occasions, who exhibited here. And of course, the latest gentleman who left us, the icon of Canadian art, Ken Danby, for 2 or 3 occasions was here selling and sharing his vision of Canada. So our Canada includes, as our sign says at the front door, this center is dedicated to the spirit of multiculturalism, is the Italian-Canadian contribution to multicultural metropolitan Toronto. Very, very pleased that you can be here. And just to tell you that we started these sort of activities, not just tonight. About 6 months ago, I went to one of the finest events I ever did. It was called the Marco Polo Experience, an organization led by Mr. Chan with the Ben Cambridge Society, came up and said, why don't we do something Italian and Chinese? And that means, okay, let's eat. That's exactly what we did. We took the best names and chefs and restaurants in the Chinese community and in the Italian community, and we ate, and we communicated, and we broke bread, and we shared. And we hope that we can continue to do so over culture and music and art, the international language. Grazie molto.
Getting close to the end of the formalities, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to call on Mr. John Mann. John Mann, who is the chairman of the secular volunteer group that conceived of this celebration and who put it together. John Mann.
Thank you, Joe. I don't speak in Thai. I'm so excited to see so many important people here. We have Joel, we have Basenio, we have Madam Chu, Ojan from RBC, KK Rita, and also the Concert of Howard, and a lot of good friends and supporters with this event, in particular the media friends. Let me tell you why I want to be the co-chair. When I was given the opportunity to co-chair this event 2 months ago, I accepted it with honor because I consider this is an event to highlight the accomplishment and potential of Hong Kong. I myself came from Hong Kong. I take great pride in all the success and spirit of my hometown. So I treasure this opportunity to co-chair this meeting. As I look at the beauty, the creativity and unique style of the artist Madam Chu, I say she could have come from nowhere else but Hong Kong. So as we are going to conclude the celebration this evening, I do want to announce again the two co-hosts, Mr. Basilio So, for your support and all the great work by Stephen Seal and Daniel and staff of the office. Also, I want to thank Dr. Joe, your guidance, and also the capable assistance of your staff. Since Nancy has thanked you all, but I think in Mandarin we have a saying, 礼多人不怪. So I want to repeat my thank you note to some people who make this great event. The first one I want to thank is Dr. Kiki Lam. You are the one who initiated this project. You're always a blessing hand behind us. And I want to thank the artist, Madam Chu, coming all the way from Hong Kong, bringing all these 30 pieces of the masterpiece. They're heavy, they're valuable. I don't know how much you will have paid for them. I also want to thank all the honorable representatives from both government, the Canada government and also from the People's Republic of China. Also thank Paul and your skillful assistant Rosa for helping us to make it happen. Most important of all, I want to thank you all for coming because your support is so important. Thanks again everyone and have a nice evening.
Dr. thank you, grazie. I want to thank, where's
朱楚珠
英文係 Nancy Chu。我係喺廣東省出生，3個月後就去咗香港長大。17歲嘅時候就去美國讀大學，去 Cornell University， 然後去 Columbia University 攞 Master， 然後喺美國住咗14年，所以呢就喺紐約嗰處呢就一味吸收西洋嘅文化、西洋嘅藝術。73年就回香港，就喺香港一直到而家，但係我就不停咁樣喺中國旅行，就睇專係研究中國古代嘅畫，就放假有陣時呢就去歐洲，就專係研究外國嘅畫，嗰啲古畫，所以對於我呢中西嘅畫史係好緊要嘅。我而家有今日嘅作品呢，都係喺中西文化嚟到吸收消化出嚟嘅。
咁你話你研究中國個古畫有邊幾類嘅就？
哦，中國嘅呢，我就中意嗰啲水墨 ，OK， 好似古時嘅鞏賢啊、八大山人啊，嗰啲用墨神筆嚟到出嚟嘅，咁嗰啲影響我嘅。
咁西洋畫方面呢？
西洋方面呢，因為我係60幾年喺美國讀大學嘅呢，我就嗰陣時啱係 abstract expressionist， 就係 de Kooning 啊、Franz Kline 啊，佢哋嗰啲畫呢都係好，對於我諗起呢就係好中國化嘅，因為佢係大筆大潑墨我嚟到畫嘅，咁實情對於我中西唔係咁大分別嘅。
咁你本身而家你嘅畫派係自己嘅獨立嘅畫派，定係話有啲似邊一類畫派？
我自己呢就係我覺得係我獨立嘅，因為我最緊要呢就係對某一樣嘢我畫嘅一定要有情感，一定要表達到出嚟。咁而我用宣紙，我用西洋嘅顏色，我用我個方法嚟到表達。
咁你頭先講話你個創作主要就係個 passion 啦，係咪？咁題材方面咧，係有冇啲？題
材我就有差不多5類嘅，一就人體啦，二呢就係靜物啦，即係水果啊嗰啲啦，另外一啲就係山水啦，咁咪有啲抽象啦，同埋有啲水墨啦，嗰處人體嘅水墨啦，
你喺每個創作過程度咧，頭先我哋係用宣紙啦，用西洋嘅墨啦咁你覺得你啲畫派都即係同一般睇嗰啲有啲唔同，係唔同喺邊度咧？其實即係個畫風啦，定係即係
我就畫畫，我係好獨立嘅思想，我覺得即係每一樣嘢你做啊，都係經過情感同經過個腦諗過嚟到揮發出嚟。我就唔會好，我人唔係會好現實嚟到好小心咁樣掃描出嚟嘅，因為嗰個階段我自己經過咗。我而家呢個階段呢，就係點樣揮發中國嘅水墨，先打咗墨底，然後先至用西洋嘅畫嚟到潑彩，由潑墨到潑彩。
今次展出嘅畫係都係近期嘅作品嚟嘅。
係有好多係近期2007年嘅。
咁我諗你畫咗好多年㗎，係咪？
係啊。
早期嘅畫同而家嘅畫風有咩唔同咧？其實你自己覺得？
第一我而家會放啲啦。我一向都係即係我唔係花鳥嘅人物嘅畫家嚟嘅，我係。多數係一睇咗有咩感受就畫出嚟嘅，譬如我啲水果呢，都係表現人情方面，私人生活或者私人溝通方面。
咁你呢個畫展我知道就係都喺世界各地傳媒啊，咁各地嗰個即係啲觀賞人嘅反應點樣？其實
好奇怪，有啲就識欣賞，有啲就未必識欣賞嘅。
咁有冇咩 comment 佢哋即係識欣賞啲 comment 係點咧？其實
識欣賞嗰啲就好似你咁樣，即係問啱針對嘅題目嚟到問；唔識欣賞嗰啲呢，就即係好普通咁樣嚟到問。但係呢，好似我啲水墨人體嗰處呢，就係我最新嘅材料同埋方法，因為人體呢。
就西方好流行啊，根本係畫畫嘅基礎。中國人呢就好少用素描嘅方法，但係我用水墨畫人體呢就冇得改嘅，同埋要快嘅。咁如果你睇個人唔準啊，我用真嘅模特兒畫嘅。如果你哋睇個人唔準呢，你又唔夠快，又化咗，又唔改得，咁咪變咗一塌糊塗。所以呢樣呢係我而家嘅精品嚟嘅。
咁一般你創作一幅畫要幾耐時間從構思到畫
？It depends， 因為我有啲畫好似頭先南非嗰張咁啦，我至少潑15次嘅，因為每一次喺宣紙啊，每次你落咗顏色呢，佢乾咗呢，佢就冇咩㗎，就冇少咗一半嘅光彩嘅，因為宣紙係吸收嘅。咁變咗乾咗，你要再潑，乾咗要再潑，潑到佢燦爛為止。
咁你未來有冇咩特別嘅題材想畫，或者有啲咩畫方面？
冇咩特別，我諗我會做多啲水墨，因為水墨嘅人體呢 ，at the moment 而家都未有人做到嘅。可以做素描，但係做唔到我嗰個立體感啊。
咁我期待你多啲水墨嘅人體，翻嚟再展出。
多謝你，多謝。